Adventure Quest is in 3D now. I'd known about this for a while, but recently I streamed a bit of the game, and I'm here to talk about it.
Enter Shadow Skull Tower, if you have the guts. Because inside each and every one of you is a skeletal warrior, just dying to get out.
So, Adventure Quest 3D is basically everything I love about Artix Entertainment and Adventure Quest as far as I can tell. That it's like 10 years behind the times in terms of like graphical quality, but it's adorable in the way that it approaches things, and it's got that sense of humor about itself that I still really love. If you see my Adventure Quest video, it's basically that but in 3D. It's in open beta at the moment, so you can get it for Steam, and the basic gist of the gimmick that they're going for, because they can't just suddenly make something that can rival the likes of Guild Wars or whatever's big at the moment. They can't make a huge world with that. I mean, it would cost a lot, and they still seem like a very small company. So the gimmick is true cross-platform MMO. So instead of it being like, oh, you can play on the console and the PC, it's actually, I don't think you can play on console, but you can play on your phone, and you can play on the PC. I don't think they have a phone version out yet. It's coming soon, apparently. But the idea is that the graphics are so bad looking because it needs to be played on mobile as well as PC. So I can understand that. It just doesn't work very well as like a thing that would get loads of people interested. Like, the people who are going to play this are people who love Adventure Quest, and I mean, just look at some of the names I saw of the people I didn't even play for that long, and I saw all these names, including Uchiha Sasuke. I mean, that's all I really need to say, isn't it? I love it. I played it for a little bit. The combat is very simple because it's supposed to be on mobile. Like, you can click on an enemy to target them, and then you press the buttons, like you've got 5 buttons for fighting, like your auto attack, dazed things, whirlwind swipe. You press the button, they do it, and if you press one of the attack buttons and you've got an enemy in the distance targeted, they'll run towards it. Your character will run towards it. So obviously it's trying to balance being a mobile game and a PC game. And ultimately, I think it would make a good mobile game, but the limitations of mobile make the PC version look like it's 10 years behind the times. Like I said, it's really, really not good 3D graphics. Having said that, I really like not very good looking 3D graphics. I love low poly stuff, and I love low resolution textures. That's why I still enjoy new experiences in old consoles like PS1. I just love PS1 games, even if I've never played them. I just love that aesthetic of not all the detail is there, but it's also in 3D, and I like 3D things. And I appreciate a lot of the art direction in this. I like being there. It's a nice thing. The only thing that I'm not sure about is the game. Because the game it's an MMO, and it's a very typical MMO. You fight whatever monsters, you get gold and crap, and then you craft. I mean, it's all MMOs ever have been. That's fine. I just don't particularly care for that sort of game anymore. It doesn't grab me. But I do love the aesthetic, I love the way it looks, and the comedy. It's hard to explain why I like the bad comedy. I mean, they have things, they say gameception and senpai, and they spell it wrong. I do like the fact that they're drawing attention to certain things about their game, like, oh, I gotta pay to be a guardian, don't I? And he says, yup, you gotta pay, and you get all these features. And it's like, it's what every other free-to-play game does. You gotta pay to have a good time, but talking about it doesn't necessarily alleviate those problems. Like, I don't want to pay for this, even though it would make my life easier. And drawing attention to it is funny in a little cutscene, and it's funny for me as a person who doesn't really care. I'm not going to play it, I'm not really going to play this game that much. I just like it on a conceptual level. Bringing it up doesn't stop it from being what you're doing. I don't know, it's in open beta. I shouldn't be too harsh on the way it is right now. They could improve it a lot, but I feel like things like the low poly, low texture resolution, limited animation, that stuff's gonna stay the same. The comedy's gonna be still a bit silly, but, you know, unpolished and memey and 2001-esque. It feels very early 2000s in its approach. Basically, if you liked Adventure Quest at all, I would recommend trying out the open beta that they have on Steam, and if it turns out to be a good mobile game when it's finally released, maybe I'll play it. I'll talk about it then, in a whole other video. Or maybe I'll just mention it in passing or something, or a tweet. I'll tweet it. Go to my Twitter. My Twitter's got stuff on it. So yeah, Adventure Quest 3D. It's Adventure Quest, but in 3D. It's really all I needed to say, actually, now that I think about it. But there it is. Oh, and I've got a new camera. Do you like it? I've got the sunlight coming in, and it looks quite well lit. And, yeah. It's a nice camera.